Thanks for inviting us in. It's 11 o'clock. There is heartbreak tonight after 4 Hoosiers died in a Florida plane crash. This tragic news hitting hard tonight across central Indiana. The victims, Rick and Beth Beaver of Noblesville and Jeff and Patty Lumpkin of Fishers. Our Rachel Krause talked with the Lumpkins pastors tonight. You'll hear his memories coming up in a moment. But first at 11, we want to let you know what we know about this crash tonight. Their small plane went down last evening near Venice, Florida, as they were heading back to St. Petersburg. Their plane crashed in the Gulf of Mexico shortly after taking off from the Venice Municipal Airport. That's about a half mile from the Venice fishing pier. People who saw the crash immediately called 911.
What's the location of the emergency?
I'm at the pier at Sharky's, and a plane just took off and crashed in the water.
I'm a pilot. His engine sounded normal, and he was just losing a lot of altitude. He crashed pretty hard.
We're at Sharky's pier restaurant. We're on the beach, and we pretty sure we just saw a plane crash into the ocean.
we have multiple calls on this, and we are on the way.
Right now, the NTSB and FAA are working to determine what caused that crash. Reaction to this accident is pouring in this evening on social media. So many people are grieving the loss of the Lumpkins and Beavers. Our Rachel Krause talked with the pastor of 2 of the victims tonight, who says this loss is tragic and heartbreaking for everyone who knew them.
I think in this world we need great people, and when you lose them, you feel it hard. You know, you feel it deeply. Yeah, they weren't just parishioners or people at the church, they were friends.
Nathan Peternell, lead pastor at Life Church in Fishers, says he's still in shock after finding out 4 people from central Indiana died in a plane crash Wednesday night in Venice, Florida, identified as Rick and Beth Beaver of Noblesville and Patty and Jeff Lumpkin of Fishers.
He said there's been a plane crash, and I asked, was it Jeff? And that's who it was. So, yeah, just heartbreaking.
Peternell says Patty was a kind and caring woman, a realtor at Carpenter Realty in Indy. Jeff, he says, he met when he first came up for prayer years earlier, the pair becoming fast friends. Later, Jeff even serving as a mentor to his own son.
He was somebody that walked around with a big smile and just a lot of encouragement. And so I think everybody that's found out, I think, is just a little bit shocked.
News that came that much harder, knowing how much Jeff prided himself on safety when it came to flying.
Yeah, he was a rule follower, definitely, when it came to that, and he was always trying to tell my son, you've got to obey the guidelines. So he was very much somebody who wanted to have all of his, everything in order. He would have been by the book kind of guy.
Also in that plane, Rick and Beth Beavers. Rick ran Beaver Construction Management in Noblesville. Beth founded Indiana Elite Cheer and Tumbling, a staple for many young women around central Indiana. And this loss being felt all around the community. Here at Indiana Elite Cheer and Tumbling today, girls and their parents came out to leave messages for Coach Beth. Now, flowers, candles, and messages to Beth and her family surround the building, a tribute to the well-loved coach. Peternell says this is a tough loss for all that knew them. He says he saw the foursome together just weeks ago.
They actually came to an event that we had just last month, and they all sat at the same table, and they were excited to raise money for missions.
Peternell says as the news of this loss settles in for himself, the families, and their church communities, he says there's comfort knowing that in the end, Jeff and Patty were together.
They loved each other tremendously, so the idea that they were together, I think they probably would have wanted it that way.
In Hamilton County, Rachel Krause, 13 News.
Well, this is the second deadly plane crash out of Venice just this year, and we're told the crash that killed 4 Hoosiers is strikingly similar to one that killed a husband, wife, and child back in January. Now, in both cases, the planes were heading back to St. Petersburg and crashed shortly after takeoff. Investigators say the planes were taking similar paths before going down, and both were leaving after a night in Venice. Police tell us the similar circumstances are unusual, but have not drawn a link between the 2 cases so far. Investigators are looking at some video from the pier and cameras near the airport for additional insight. Of course, we'll be following this story closely overnight, and you'll find updates on our website and tomorrow morning on Sunrise beginning at 4 a.m.